Debbie Berman, thank you for joining me here. I know it's so late at night. We're trying to make this happen. And I want to tell you, Debbie, when I asked people that knew Avigail well to join me on this project, everybody had the same answer. I want to do this for Avigail. She meant so much to me. Katonti, I don't know if I'll be able to share what her magnitude, but I want to do it and I hope it comes out well. And everybody said the same thing, which was remarkable that everybody feels such awe and love to Avigail.
Yeah. So I completely agree with the love part. It's funny. When you asked me if I wanted to do this, it was Movan Me'elav that I would want to do this because Abigail's so much with me in my life. I talk about her often. I tell stories about her. My kids tell stories about her. She's a part of my life. And sometimes I watch Shiurim, or sometimes I'll remember stupid puns and different language things. And mostly it makes me happy to think about Abigail. It makes me really happy. Remembering her brings me joy. And so talking to you and participating in this is a natural thing, and only just, it's very comfortable. I could, you're right, 15 minutes is not enough. I could talk about her. What do you want to know? Let's talk about Abigail.
Yeah, the interesting part that you said that it brings you joy thinking about her, and that's how people described her, as simcha, happy, funny, while she was brilliant. I love that everybody's repeating the same thing and no one spoke to one another. It's not like I prepped anyone.
Right.
And everybody's sharing the same repetitive things, which means that she lived with such core mindfulness of her existence. It was so beautiful. So Debbie, tell me how you met Avigail.
So Abigail and I met when we were both working in Midrashet Moriah, not yet as teachers. We were madrichot for Shana Aleph in Midrashet Moriah. And that's how we met. We were together 24/7, night and day in the dorms. And I don't want to know how many years ago that was. It was a lot of years ago. We were just a few years older than the Midrashet girls at the time. So it was a lot of years ago. And Abigail and I just took it very quickly off of the being co-workers and madrichot, but really becoming part of the Poupko family. And I don't know, they just adopted me. Abigail adopted me. We later said that we were sisters, but actually at the very beginning, we used to say we were husband and wife. She was my husband. We're really together all the time. It was insane. Sometimes you just meet and there's chemistry. That's how it was with us.
Wow.
We were very different even then. And in our lives from that point, we went in different directions. But the difference only made our connection stronger, I think. We played off of each other really well. We balanced each other. We really had fun together. We really explored. We were just at the beginning, so we were trying to figure out who were we going to become as women, as Jewish women, and who we were going to grow into. And having Abigail at that stage of my life was, I look back at it now, it was such a gift to have someone like that to bounce my dreams, my visions, my ideas off of. And that's the stage when we met, just when you're very young and very idealistic and you believe that you can do anything. So to have someone like Abigail as your sidekick, or me as her sidekick, or whatever it was, absolutely sky was the limit. And a lot of emunah, a lot of faith in people, in the world, a love of Eretz Yisrael, a passionate love of the words and the ideas in the Torah. That was really the base and the root of our friendship.
Did you keep in touch all these years?
We lost touch for a little while on a regular day-to-day basis, just because we both got married. Abigail was on shlichut. We've always kept in touch. But when I moved to Bet Shemesh, actually, Abigail is the reason that I moved to Bet Shemesh. And I really didn't know anybody else here. And after my divorce, I had 4 kids. And Abigail adopted me again. Abigail and Yehuda and all of the kids adopted me again, and me and all my kids. And from then, we had been in pretty close contact, regular contact, like 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning to walk contact. And there's a lot of times when you're grieving and you're missing somebody, there's an element of appreciation, because the greater the love that you have for a person, the greater the pain and the grieving is. The love was great and the loss is great, but I would not trade that, the pain of the grieving and the loss and the missing her now, for the time that we had together and the connection and the love that we had. It was worth every single bit of it. So, yeah.
That's so beautifully said. How would you describe the legacy in a few words that she created, the footprint that she left on the in this world or in your own personal life?
So Abigail was very firmly rooted in the world of halakha. She knew exactly who she was. She was very clear on who she was, on what where her borders were, what was truth, what was right, what was wrong. But she was the most open-minded, open-hearted, more than open-minded person. And she never judged anyone else. Everyone was equal in her eyes. If it was the person who cleaned the streets or a great Rav or anybody that she encountered, she gave them her time and her full attention. And to me, that's her legacy. And what we need to do a whole lot more of is interact openly, have dialogue, and not to be fearful of people that are different from us. That's the legacy. Be strong in who you are, but be open to people that are different from you. Accept people, love them, listen to them, hear them, and know them. I think that's really what was unique about Abigail. She wasn't afraid to get to know people that were very from different worlds, different background, and that's a good legacy.
I guess you need to know yourself so well and be so confident with who you are that you don't get intimidated by somebody else that's different. And maybe because you said that she was very grounded with Allah, she knew what
She
her
knew
boundaries were. She knew who she was.
yeah.
Maybe that was her gift of first knowing who you are and being very clear on what's important to you and your guidelines. And then you don't get intimidated or even think differently on somebody else because it's them. This is me and this is you. And I don't have to be intimidated by you being different and or look down or up or whatever. We're all human. We're all in this game of life. And I think when you were just talking, I'm like, oh, maybe that was the why. Because she knew herself so well, she was able to do that acceptance without fear, without judgment.
And I just think also very rare blend of, and we even talked about this in the earlier stages of our relationship, a very unique blend of intellect and emotional intelligence. It doesn't usually come in the same packaging. You usually have one or the other. God gifts you with one or the other. And often, if you have one, you're not super strong in the other. And in the package that was Abigail, she had both. Those were both things that Hashem gave her. And I think that's what made her interaction with people so special, because there was the brilliance and always processing and always a few steps ahead of the people that she was talking to. But there was the chen and the interaction with people always in a way that never put people off and made everybody feel really comfortable at her table. Anybody could be at her table and she would give them all the same questions and all the same amount of interest and enthusiasm. That's Avigail. If I'm really thinking about her for a minute though. Wow. Oh my God. Everybody made her excited. Everybody was fascinating to her. And she was not a faker. She was real. She was a very truthful person. That wasn't fake. She really liked people. She was fascinated by them. So that's, I think, the secret ingredient. Yes, she did know herself very well, but it was the combination of those kind of amazing traits that she had that most people are not gifted with. And she used them. She used them. Look how many people she touched and impacted in the short time that she was with us. Yeah.
Oh, you said that so beautifully. You really said that.
I
I got tears.
Yeah.
What do you think was the thing that she was most passionate about? I shouldn't say most, but some of the things that she was very passionate about.
Easy. I thought you were going to say her greatest achievement, or most passionate about. I have an easy answer for either of those. Abigail was a scholar. Abigail was a brilliant teacher. Abigail was a Tanach Rabbanit. She was a champion of women's rights early on when no one else was. Abigail was a community leader, but none of those things were her greatest legacy or her greatest passion. And the greatest achievement that Avigail Poupko Rock had in this world are 5 people that are walking around right now, and that is her children. And if I'm going to, I know it's what I'm going to, because They were everything to her. Every single
With
bit.
all of her achievements,
None of
prioritize
those
them.
meant anything to her as much as, and I know it because we talked about it often near the end.
Wow.
What do you leave behind? And what mark do you leave on the world? And she had lo yachaser, what she was leaving behind, but none of that mattered as much as her children. Her husband and her children and her family were the most important thing in the world to her. And they felt it. I know they still feel it. And if she saw who they were in this world and what kind of light they're spreading and what kind of lives and homes they're building and the connection that they have with each other, I know how important that was to her. Nothing could make her prouder because nothing was more important to her. Zell, she was a mom. And she would say that proudly, proud of the fact that she was the best mother in the world that she could be. That was it. That was her greatest.
Beyond human, like beyond human, such great achievements with staying so connected to what matters most.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare to find that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So you think her greatest accomplishment was her incredible children, the legacy of the children that she,
Family. Her
the
family.
family, and the
Yeah.
core
Her
values that she
siblings as
instilled.
well. Her siblings, her parents, her nieces and nephews, her family life was really important to her. Yeah. But mostly her children. I miss having a crazy partner to do crazy things with. If I just heard about something really wild and I wanted to bounce it off someone, yeah, the spontaneity, and together with that, the absolute loyalty and reliability. And I don't know, there's no words to define. I just miss her. When you love a person, you love their essence. You love who they are, not what they are. So I miss her. I would love half an hour of a coffee with Abigail. That would be fabulous.
Yeah. Do you talk to her sometimes?
I talk to her. I remember her often. Like I said, I remember her, and I a lot of times I just find myself, especially stupid, dumb jokes, thinking, "Oh my God, she just oh my God, that's so Abigail." And yeah, she's missing. She's missing. But like I said, that's a big hole that was left from the size of the connection. So I'm mostly grateful that we had it. Yeah, I would love to talk to her. The finality of it is hard sometimes.
Yeah.
The big silence.
Yeah. The void.
So many years later.
Yeah. How can we continue her legacy? What could be some real concrete things that we could do to continue her incredible legacy that she left?
I think Jews of very different backgrounds and very different orientations should have much more interaction. There's programs like in Israel, programs like Gesher that interact and connect people from the Haredi world and the secular world and have them meet each other and become friends with each other and talk to each other. I think we need a whole lot more of that. And I think maybe even internationally and globally, I feel personally since the beginning of the war that there's a huge improvement in connections between Jews inside and outside of Israel, and much more that we're a family. We're one big dysfunctional family. And if anybody could handle dysfunctional families and uncomfortable truths, it was Abigail. She did it with humor. She did it with love. And I think that should be her legacy, that we should try to open dialogue and meet each other, know each other, and grow to love each other with all of our idiosyncrasies, differences, with all of the arguing. She never shied away from a good argument, and a good argument was her favorite thing intellectually. If you're speaking the truth, then there's no reason that you can't go and take that out into the shuk and talk to everybody about it because you're firm in what your truth is. So I think meet, talk.
Open dialogue.
Oh, I like that. Open minds and open hearts. That's a good legacy for what we can do for her.
Beautiful. Thank you. Debbie, I love how you said big dysfunctional family. It so describes the Jewish world right now. Everybody has the big emotions and everybody has their traumas from something, but we're a family and we can't forget that. And as you said, her biggest thing that she left behind was her family. So how can we focus inward to our own personal families and as a collective, as Am Yisrael? Beautiful. Debbie, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing moments of Abigail with us and hopefully continuing her incredible work that she did in this world. And what I wish I had that I could speak to her about is how did she find the balance between her passion of limud Torah and teaching and whatever advocacy that she did in the world, at the same time be so rooted in her core value of her family, and as you said, as a mother, like a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, as a sister. She was phenomenal on all ends. Like, oh, how did she do it?
She had clear gvulot. She made choices. There were certainly professionally choices that she could have made where she could have worked more, she could have taken on more, but she was very clear on what was more important there. And so I think that the work-life balance, any working woman has these issues, and it's always a question of you have a lot of balls in the air at the same time and which one is going to fall. But maybe she didn't put that many balls up in the air. She didn't take on more than what she wanted to. And,
but yet she achieved some more than most people would achieve in 2 lifetimes.
Correct. So what's really important? What do you really leave behind? The people that you love, the people that you touch, the good that you do. That's what's remembered. The other stuff was she valued herself and her work, but that wasn't it. That wasn't, if you asked her in her darkest days and her deepest heart, what was really most important to her, it was definitely the family and herself as a mom.
Thank you for sharing your heart, your journey, your grief, and your joy about Abigail. It means the world to me. Thank you for your time.